So do you remember that Belle Delphine situation a few years ago where she sold her bathwater? Where people generally had one of two reactions. One, going, what the hell is wrong with everyone? Or two,
where's my credit card?
Well, I don't know if you've seen the news, but she actually ended up losing money by doing that. Though I would argue it's not as simple as that, and it was still a genius move. Right? Because Belle came out of the woodwork this week, and she claimed in a series of tweets, since it's been a couple of years now, I can finally share the biggest L I've ever taken. Not only did I not earn any money selling my bathwater, I in fact lost money doing it. PayPal, without any warning, closed my PayPal account and took the $90,000 that I earned from selling my bathwater. There was nothing I could do. And saying I knew it would be a better news story to say that I made so much money from selling my bathwater, so I just kept this secret. Ultimately, I'm still glad I did it since it was a really funny time on the internet when it happened, and I still did mail out the bathwater people bought from me. And then going further by adding that she apparently broke their terms of service, which resulted in $2,500 in penalties for every sale. But also with that saying PayPal wouldn't even tell her what rules she broke for security reasons. So a key thing there is that they added that PayPal does have rules about sexually oriented goods, right? Specifically limiting those sales to physical items like DVDs and magazines, and also saying they must be sold within the US, and Belle is notably usually based out of the UK. Right? And while the bathwater situation was a generally unique one for PayPal, the criticism of the company is not new. You know, they've often been criticized for its treatment of sex workers and adult performers in the past. Right? They just said, for privacy reasons, we cannot comment on specific accounts. But also, you know, I think there is an argument to be made that Belle really didn't lose money here. And understand, I'm not saying that she's lying, right? Because the money that she lost there, that's essentially just a marketing expense. The value that she got from the spectacle that was her selling her bathwater before really anyone was doing something like that has to be in millions of dollars. And given that she's an OnlyFans model that charges $35 a month, and that doesn't even keep into account like all the other ways OnlyFans models make money once they get you in. But to also make this a bigger story about the industry in general, like Belle is far from the only person to recently call out financial institutions for harming sex workers. It's a problem that faces all kinds of sex work, whether it be on the OnlyFans side of things or escorts as well. Or we've seen some in the UK recently calling out banks for shutting down their accounts. Like, for example, one National Health Services worker turned escort telling the Financial Times that she has been denied bank accounts or had them shut down on her 15 times, saying, so you want me to pay taxes, but you want to take bank accounts off me? And the Sex Workers Union has actually found that 80% of its members have experienced some form of financial discrimination. But still, you have plenty arguing that that still just plays right into and worsens the stigma surrounding sex work. This news also, thankfully, coming as we're seeing stories about progress being made for sex workers. Like with Belgium, for example, they just approved a labor law for employment contracts for certain sex workers without giving them things like insurance, holidays, maternity leave. And like we've talked about on the show, these industries will exist, whether they are illegal or not. So decriminalization at the least, regulation, those things seem to benefit everyone. Keeping the workers safe or trying to limit or completely eliminate exploitation and abuses in the system. And then in the entertainment gaming space right now, we have people pissed the fuck off right now. And we'll start with Microsoft, which is getting a lot of heat right now.
Fuck Microsoft!
Accusations that it's acting like a monopoly after it announced layoffs 2 days ago of a ton of its gaming studios, including completely shuttering a few, with the most impacted studios being under Bethesda's banner and including Arcane Austin, Tango Gameworks, and Alpha Dog Games, all of which had plans to develop and release new titles. And so this move has generated a lot of questions about Microsoft's gaming strategy, and also whether these shutdowns were to help offset the cost of buying up studios like Activision Blizzard last year.
I have a question. BlizzCon is not happening this year. Given the fact that it was such a shitty one last year, is that a W or an L? I'm on the fence. I'm like, like, I don't know. I'm missing BlizzCon was good. On the other hand, if you're going to have that shitty, I'd rather not waste my time and money at the same time. Yes, please make it better before you have it again. I don't know.
And that's amid other hiccups in the gaming industry. We're seeing things like the sale of Xbox's Game Pass. Those have really begun to slow, which if you're unfamiliar, it's essentially a subscription service that gets you access to a ton of games for a flat monthly rate, as well as the fact that Xbox is floundering, leading Microsoft Gaming to reconsider how it handles exclusive titles and making them available across many platforms in order to increase sales. And what's been especially frustrating for fans and former employees is that there isn't a clear reason for why these studios were hit. You know, they were all working on projects and either recently had massive hits or had in the past. Plus, in some cases, such as Arcane Austin's Redfall, there was supposed to be a massive update coming out. Now, with that, you could argue that Redfall bombed hard, so a shutdown makes sense. But it's also made amazing games in the past, like Dishonored, and it was looking to...
It's because the people at Microsoft, I don't think they're in touch with what their consumers actually want. Last year's BlizzCon, it was LineCon. That shit was awful. It was a dumpster fire. We shouldn't be waiting like 4 hours in a line just to get a plush. And then, like, maybe not even get it. And the way that it was laid out was really bad. Like, the effects were cool, right? The tree of souls, or whatever the fuck it was with all the heads, was really sick. That was pretty cool. But who the fuck wants to give blood at a convention center to be put in a raffle for a computer? Like, that's such, like, a big like requirement just to enter a fucking raffle, not even get the thing, just be entered into a raffle. Like, come on, man. Like, if you're gonna like, at least make it, people like, I don't know, do something simple if they want to enter a raffle. I don't know. It's so crazy. That was dumb. I think the blood cool PC is a cool idea, but have the raffle be like a less intensive barrier of entry. You're like making a lot of people not want to enter, you know?
To go back to those roots. But Tango Gameworks was far less of a mixed bag. They made the massively successful Hi-Fi Rush, which Microsoft even praised last year, saying Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. We couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with the surprise release. And they were reportedly even well on their way to working on a sequel when this news came, shocking everyone. They buy game studios to eradicate competition and build a monopoly because that's how they make money. This is also the reason why Game Pass exists. In addition to Spencer defending Microsoft's acquisitions to only then lay off staff, former president of Blizzard Mike Ibarra tweeted out a defense of his colleague and his decision, saying, I see a lot of shots at Phil over today's Xbox announcements. I get it, but knowing him as a human, I know this hurts him as much as anyone else. I can't speak for all of the leadership there, but I do know him and I do know what he is likely going through, as well as, but he's a good human and he cares deeply for the creative process and developers. That's my firsthand experience in working closely with him for 8+ years and knowing him for 24+, all of which did not go over well. And what's been especially frustrating for fans and former employees is that there isn't a clear reason for why these studios were hit. You know, they were all working on projects and either recently had massive hits or had in the past. Plus, in some cases, such as Arcane Austin's Redfall, there was supposed to be a massive update coming up. Now with that, you could argue that Redfall bombed hard, so a shutdown makes sense. Overall, there's just this feeling of frustration and anger over what's going on. You know, it's been a crazy couple of days for Boeing, right? Because we've got 3 jaw-dropping emergency videos and a new whistleblower with one terrifying message. So let's start with the first video, which came out of Turkey yesterday morning. There you had a Boeing 767 FedEx Airlines cargo plane coming down for a landing at Istanbul's airport. But reportedly, its landing gear failed to lock into place, meaning they just had to retract it and raw dog the landing with no front wheel.
I have a question. Anybody here have dogs? Do you have experience with like all natural, like flea and tick, like spray, like not poisonous kind, but just like natural ingredients that ward off the fleas? Because I can't, the front line isn't working on Princess and Nox. The flea baths we've been doing, but they're hopping back on from somewhere. So I just want something I can spray on her repeatedly, like daily. That's like a deterrent, because I can't give her the pill because she's pregnant. So what was the spray you used, dude, man? Do you know what kind it was? I just want one that works, because I don't have experience with them. Okay, thank you. So I think we took the carpet out under the table to clean it from like all the piss and poop and stuff. And then we had like the whole patio treated. I put Frontline on them. They've had flea bath. The entire yard has been treated. But somehow they're still on. And I'm like, ah! And so I'm like, ah. I think they're surviving like in their face or something.
Explaining,
yeah,
quote,
from what I've been searching, flea collars aren't good for pregnant dogs either. Because they're untested rather. Frontline is safe. I used that already, so I can't really use it again, I don't think.